So this is the laptop that my wife uses, and it's a HP. It's only new. We got it earlier this year. So HP NV17, and well, to be honest, we thought the performance wasn't very good. We bought it because it had a big screen, right? 17-inch screen. Performance-wise, it's actually slower than a 5-year-old Sony Vaio. This is an i7. The Vaio's an i3, and the Vaio was better. Anyway, something I've done here is I've upgraded it. Now, they don't actually make this thing normally upgradable. They, it's a factory or service agent upgrade only, because there's no access hatches. You have to actually unscrew the bottom casing and pull it apart and pull the drive out and stuff like that. So, anyway, I've done it because, I can. And what I've put in here is I've upgraded the RAM. It did have 8GB of RAM originally. I've maxed that out. So I bought 2 new RAM sticks. Now the original ones, this is the original one that came in it. This is, the original supplied by HP. That's what was in there. Those ran at 1600. Whatever that is, 1600 something. And the new ones run at 1777. So it's actually faster. The clock speed runs at, yes, it's 1.6 gigahertz it must be. I don't know, anyway, I can't remember. But, yeah, so the new stuff runs faster. So it's just, you can see the specs here. So I've put in 16GB of RAM. Took the original one out and put 2 new ones in. So it's exactly the same RAM, both slots, so there's no possible clashes there, that sort of stuff. Just better to do that. And it's 1866 RAM, and it's running at 1777, and this one here was running at 1600. So yeah, that's an improvement just in that. Although it wasn't using all its memory anyway. Most of the time it was only using about half of it, so it's probably not a big deal with doing the RAM. Probably didn't get a big gain from that at all. But what I have done, I've also put in a Crucial MX 300 1TB SSD drive. The reason I did that particular drive is the original one is a 1TB drive. It's in here, hard disk. And sure, you can shrink the partitions down and that sort of stuff and mess around with it and fit it onto a 500GB SSD, but then you actually tend to lose the ability to boot up off the recovery partition. So what I've done here is I've got a drive which is a fraction bigger than the original, at a great expense obviously. This is a fair bit of money involved here, that's US dollars. And that allowed me to basically copy the original hard drive, to clone it straight onto the SSD. And I've actually wasted 50 megabytes of hard drive space, because the original one's 1000 gigabytes, this one's 1050. Sorry, 50 gigabytes of space. Sorry, not megabytes. But to be honest, I don't really care. It's plenty of space. It's not an issue. I'm not worried about that at all. This has sped the computer up a lot. Although my wife hasn't really noticed yet, she has barely used it, and so she hasn't actually done anything intensive on it yet. So I don't think she's actually noticed that it's got a lot better. So things like boot up time, before it'd take a couple of minutes. Now it's 20 or 30 seconds, something like that. So it's a big improvement, like launching applications or opening files up and things like that. It's got a lot faster. So it's a big improvement. But yeah, so I thought I'd mention that and just say, look, this is what I got. So I actually went to the Crucial website and bought it straight from them. And actually do search the model of your computer, and you can do the upgrades straight for your computer for that. And of course I do RAM and drives, it makes sense to do it all from them and just get it. I do have some weird experience with this though. When I purchased this, they sent it via using UPS, right? It was in the country in New Zealand the following day. Right, one day after they posted it, it was in the country. The day after that, I got contacted. I had to pay duty on it because it's, taxable because of the cost, and that was fine. And then it left the country, went to Australia, floated in Australia for a few days, came back to New Zealand, sat in New Zealand for a few days, and I had to keep chasing it, saying, hey, something's wrong with this because it's gone out of the country and come back. And UPS was saying, no, it's absolutely fine, it's all right. But anyway, so instead of being like the couple of days after they posted it, me getting it, it took over a week from the time it came back into the country again. So, and UPS I think were bullshitting me a little bit, I'm not quite sure, but what I was seeing from the online tracking was not what they said they could see. I saw it go to Australia and then come back. Even though I'd already paid duty. I never paid duty on it, means surely it's coming to the country already. And, that's where you pay duty, because it's coming to the country and it's coming across the border. That's when you pay the duty, not before then. But not in this case, anyway. But, and say, because it did have scans saying it arrived. So, yeah, it's a bit odd. Very odd indeed. I mean, I expect something from the US to take a week or two to arrive anyway, normally. But, the scan showed it being the day after they posted it. And I've had stuff arrive within a few days from the US before as well. It can be that quick, so, yeah. So that was a bit odd. So initially I went from being impressed by UPS to being a bit pissed off with them. From, they looked like they had really good service initially because it came straight here, it was really fast. And then after that point it was just chaos and rubbish and I wasn't happy. So it delayed things a lot. So I wanted to do this upgrade about a week ago, but I didn't have the gear. So I only did this yesterday. And yeah, the hardest bit is actually cloning the drive and finding a bit of software which works, because lots of people had issues with Windows 10, which is what this bloody thing's running. I'd prefer if it was on Windows 7 Pro or something, but it came with 10 and that's what we've had to live with. Yeah, so, and there's the part numbers. So this is for HP Envy 17. I recommend anyone, based on the experience of the speed of this machine and how slow it is, I would say probably don't buy an HP. Whether it's Windows 10 which is causing all the issue, or whether it's because it's an HP and it's just not as good as something else, I don't know. But you'd think with the name brand it'd be alright, but it seems not. Anyway,